Hello everybody, I'm Steve and welcome to Greenside Up. Back at home today in the greenhouse again. I think it's the 4th of March today, and it's time to get on with the March sowings. I've already got most of my onions done and they're down in the polytunnel. I've got a good batch of brassicas on the go as well, and a few other little odds and sods, things like sweet peas, a couple of sets of flowers. So I'm in the middle of getting on with the next lot. There's a lot to sow in March and in April, and then it starts to tail off a little bit, but I sow all year round, every month. So I've got most of my onions done, but I want to get on and sow my individual shallots today, so we'll crack on with that first. So I've got one of these Charles Dowding trays here. This is the new 60 cell trays that he developed in conjunction with Containerwise. I know there are some that think the cells are a little small, and there may be, I've even heard one of my friends saying that they're more for commercial growers. I disagree, because if you use them right, or if you use them in another way, let's not say that, let's say if you use them in a different way, then I think they're good for all growers. So I mean, this is 60 cells, and I want to sow some shallots in these individually. I mean, you're used to me multi-sowing, but I'm only going to sow half of this tray with the shallots. That'll give me 30 shallots, and I'll do something else with the other half of the tray. So again, because it's a lot of plants, it's still saving me space, but I can utilise these smaller trays. So I'm just going to sow hopefully just one or two in each cell here. That's all we want. Oh, okay, I'm going to multi-sow some of them. But what I'll do is, I'll later on, I'll either put these on or put them straight out into the garden, one or the other, but they'll be thinned out at some stage. I mean, it doesn't hurt if there's more than one seed in a cell, in case they don't come through. So I don't know what I'm going to sow in the other half of that tray just yet, but I shall just label them and put them to one side for now. I'll probably come back to this tray sometime later today. But I didn't want a full 60, that would just be too much. So I'll just quickly label that up. I'll later cover that when I fill the other cells up later. I'll water them. So as I say, I think, you know, they are very good for the access underneath. I know some people again can't get the fingers up, but you can get them out. Again, it's a lot of plants in a small area, so I like them, and I see lots of possibility for them. So for this next one, it's one of Charles's 60 cell trays. I'm going to sow something else in these now. Sieved compost as always for seeds. And then little indentations are where I'm going to plonk the seeds. I'm going to multi-sow these, and half of them will be turnip, and the other half I shall do radish. So again, it's just 30 little clumps. I mean, you could separate it up further and just do 10s, or just do whatever you want, you know, with them, but it's just a tray full of plants. You don't have to do 60 all of one different type. It's not that, you don't have to go that far. So where are we? Turnip. This is purple top. Doesn't say in there, but I think the purple tops are normally the Milan turnips. So I am going to multi-sow these, just a few in each cell, and again, if there's too many when they're growing, I just thin them out. So I'm not too concerned about counting them there. I just want any more than 2 and no more than 6 or 7 really. So that's probably all the turnip I'll need this year, and that's sown inside a minute. Job done. And the next one, a radish here. This is a French breakfast radish, and oh, these are lovely, these things. I mean, there are many really nice radishes. My other favourite is Scarlet Globe. I've had them grow as big as apples, which is amazing. But these French breakfast just I seem to like the flavour better, a little bit more pungent. And again, just multi-sowing them. It's the convenience of this seed sowing device here is you just tap them down the tray. Yeah, I'll turn it around so you can see it better. Just tap them down the tray. There's ridges down that spout, so you tap them to get them to go over. Easy peasy. And I think this thing cost £1, £2, so why wouldn't you do it? It's just so much more control. Yeah, I think there's a good amount in all of those. Normally, I just sow radish in little drills. I've got some in the polytunnel that I sowed a little earlier in the year. You may remember back there through already. I'll have to show them when I'm next down the allotment, probably tomorrow. Well, I'm supposed to be at home today because finding out about a compost delivery, and things are difficult to organise at the minute. And I've just found out that my compost supplier has doubled the price from last year. So that's a little bit of a disappointment. So I'm going to have to speak with them and see what we can sort out, because I can take an increase. I understand that, but double, that's just that's ridiculous. There we go. They're sown. There's another tray out of the way. Maybe I'll actually cover the seeds. What do you reckon? I was just going to chuck them to one side. Yeah, give them a water and they'll be on their way. As soon as they start showing, I'll just take them down the allotments. There we go, done. Right, so this next one is beetroot, multi-sown again, and I'm doing 2 types in these trays. This is a 40 cell tray. I've already got some coming through down in one of the polytunnels on the allotments, but this is the next succession of the crops. I'll probably do, I don't know, 3 or 4 of these during the year. And some will be sown outside, some under cover at different times of the year. Just to give variety and choice and different timings really. I'm always playing with timings and what will grow indoors and outdoors and what grows best, and always trying to do what I can in that respect. Anyway, this is beetroot burpees golden, lovely golden colour. These ones I particularly like roasted. Now I'm multi-sowing these, and I want sort of 3 or 4 really per cell. I don't want too many. I've just realised I've sowed them the wrong way. I should have gone up and down, but I'm going across. Never mind. So I'll stick with that with the golden. I'll do the rest The next variety will be Bolt Hardy, your normal sort of purple one, dark coloured one. So that's the Bare Peas Golden. The normal beetroot, I like it in many ways. Again, roasted is gorgeous, it really is. But just plain boiled is nice. So I've just started in this last year and a half really doing them in the pressure cooker. That seems to be working well. It's gorgeous as a chutney, really nice that is. So I'll do that as well. Anyway, I've just been on the phone to the compost company I was just speaking about earlier. There is a price rise from last year, but we've worked out a deal and I should be getting the compost I wanted delivered next week at an increased price over last year, but not quite the full prices I was quoted yesterday. So I'm pleased about that. I wanted a lot of compost, to be honest. I mean, I'm ordering 5 tons for heaven's sake, so there we go. That's that sorted, and I'll just label these. Now, sowing seeds, planting, all of it at the moment. I've seen in the comments quite a lot. I see people say, oh, I better get on with my seed. I better get on with sowing this. There is absolutely no rush whatsoever. You could leave sowing your seeds and planting anything till the end of April almost. No rush whatsoever. People like myself want to get a start on the year because they've got big gardens and they've got lots to sow. You don't need to be so ambitious. I mean, I need to get going because I've got limited space here in the greenhouse and I've a lot of plants to get out from a big plot. So I need to start them in here and then get them down and polytunnel out the way. So I start early. And I've got a heated setup here and I've got 3 other propagators in the house. So I can do that. But for everybody else, if you just got a small veg patch in your back garden or even a smallish allotment plot, there is absolutely no rush. As I say, middle of this month, middle of March to the end of it, or even going into April. In some cases you can even sow in May and still get a crop this year. So there's no need to panic and go mad sowing seeds. I just do it because I've got a lot of seeds I need to get done. Right, on with the next sowing. I'm just going to fill this up. This is going to be a furrow sowing job, which you'll have seen me do before. Need more than that. So I've got some brassicas to add to what I'm sowing, or what I've already sown even. A couple of kales and a Swiss chard need sowing. There we go, and I'll just make some little furrows in there. There we go. So I've got some yellow chard I've sown down there. I really like that bright colour in the summer, but I'm also doing some rainbow, so I should just chuck a couple in here. I mean, I actually add these to the garden at home, not for eating, just for colour's sake. They're great in between plants, make a great little statement. And then I've got a couple of kales. One is a veiled blue, curled, and this is a new one to me. You can just about see it there, hopefully. Again from Premier Seeds Direct. No idea what this one's like. But we'll find out in the fullness of time. And then the black Tuscan kale, Nero de Toscana. Cavalliniero, I think. So we'll get those in as well, get them going. The kales are a very long season plant, as are this last one, which is a purple sprouting broccoli. Again, I'll do a couple of sowings of the purple sprouting broccoli because I'll have choices this year. I do like to grow some inside. Didn't work very well this season round, and I like them growing outside, and they're just starting to produce down at the allotments. But I'm going to have more options because I'm going to have an extra poly tunnel this year, so I've got to be thinking ahead and see if I can fill that over winter, see if it'll fit into the plans I've got for there. So there's those few done there, and as I find a few more seeds, I'll soon fill that tray up. The same with that shallot tray I did earlier, there's that one to fill up. But there'll be more sowing over the next, certainly over the next week. There's a lot more sowing to do. A lot of it will be done off camera, but the important stuff, the stuff that I think you'll want to see, I'll come and get on film, and we'll get you so you can see it. But that's it for this bit. So I keep getting asked questions, and a lot of them seem to come along the similar vein. When are you sowing your tomatoes? When are you sowing when you're going to plant your potatoes in your pots? And the answer to that really is towards the end of this month, and no sooner really. You've got to be able to look after the plants. You've got to be able to make sure that a frost can't affect them. And I think the end of this month is ample time. Yes, I've grown some tomatoes early, you've seen that, and there are reasons for that, and that's explained in that video. It's because I like to do something, and I like to push the boundaries. But otherwise, I mean, you can sow tomatoes at the end of April, and you'll still get a crop off them. So you don't need to be in a mega rush, and you need that 10 degrees temperature overnight for them to thrive. They will still grow on a lower temperature. If the frost doesn't nip them and the temperatures drop, they will still grow, but what will happen is they'll just stop growing. They won't quite have the vigor they had, and then when the weather warms up again, they'll get off and running again. But it's a slow process, so you've lost a week, 2 weeks of growth, whereas if you'd sown a week or two later, they would just go all the way through, continued growth all the way through, and that is better for them. So bear that in mind. And as I say, if you haven't sown anything up to now, doesn't matter. You can sow all the way up till the end of April. Anything from broad beans, sweet peas, tomatoes, cucumbers, any of the brassicas, you can still sow them well into April and you'll still get a crop. So there's no panic, all right? Anyway, that's it for this one. I'll see you very soon again. Take care. Ta-ra now.